Hey, Stella!
It's a rather momentous day in my already pretty distinguished tackle buying career, and I have a feeling there's going to be no middle ground on this one. Some of you are going to think I am the greatest American tackle buying hero, and some of you are going to think that I went completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Because in this relatively nondescript box, there's a pretty amazing reel, and it's a spinning reel. And you got to remember, I came up bass fishing in the 90s, and it was a time when Bubba techniques were really the rage. I remember a tournament here on the Potomac that Denny Brower won flipping a tube, and his closest competitor was fishing a centipede on 8-pound test. It was then monofilament, it wasn't even fluorocarbon. And someone asked Brower, did you use any 8-pound test in this tournament? And he said, I don't even own any 8-pound test. So I came up thinking bait casting reels were where it was at, and spinning reels were kind of only a secondary concern. And for a long time, I wouldn't spend more than, say, $100 on a spinning reel. I just didn't think it was worth it. But then things started to change for me in the past 10 years. And one of those steps was when I went on a media trip to northern Michigan, and I caught my personal best smallmouth on a Shimano Stella reel. I think it was a 3000 model or a 2500 model. Typical bass size reel, super smooth, incredible drag, and I started to think maybe there's something to this. And obviously forward facing sonar has played a role in that too. Now guys are using much more spinning tackle than ever before, and the rise of braided line has made that possible with a fluorocarbon leader. And finally, the next step that's really convinced me that I need to get better and take more stock in my spinning tackle is the fact that we've been so many other places, whether it's salmon fishing in Alaska or particularly tuna fishing in Panama. I've realized that spinning tackle can and will tame big beasts, and you better be pretty good with it, and you better have good stuff. So again, this looks like just any other box. I'm glad someone didn't steal it off my doorstep today, because inside, can you see that? Stella, Shimano Stella. It's their top of the line reel. Remember when I said I wouldn't spend over $100 on a spinning reel at one point in my life? Well, I busted through that mark a while ago, and I'm now way through that mark. This is the most I've ever spent on a single reel. It retails for $1,100. Now, I did get a slight discount on it, but I still paid quite a bit. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I paid, but it's more than I ever thought I would pay for any reel, let alone a spinning reel. So I'm almost afraid to touch it. I mean, this is a bespoke piece of equipment, this Stella. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Okay, there's paperwork. Unlike with some other reels, I will fill out the warranty card on this one, because if something goes wrong, obviously you want to be able to get it fixed. And they do have a really good maintenance program on these high-end reels. There's a handle. Reel comes in a neoprene pouch. And there's this tool here for putting the handle on. There it is. It's the 14,000 size. And I want to talk a little bit about why I chose that size. I'm bringing it to Panama mostly, at least to start. And some people said you need a 10,000. Some people said you need an 18,000. Fair number said the 14,000, splitting the difference. And there's several things that weighed in favor of the 14,000. The first is that it weighs only slightly more than the 10,000, but it weighs a full 7 ounces less than the 18,000. And over a day of hard casting poppers and stick baits and fighting big fish, that's going to add up. That 7 ounces hundreds of times is going to save you a fair amount of fatigue. There's also the matter of the gear ratio. The 14,000 is the fastest reel in the Stella lineup. It's 6.2 to 1, and it brings in an amazing 53 inches of line for every rotation of the handle. It also has 55 pounds of drag, which is incredible to me. You know, I'm used to fishing bait casting reels for bass that maybe have 10, 12, 22 at the most. 55 pounds is going to be infinitely adjustable, yet at the same time stop a charging tuna, and that makes it really valuable for what we're planning to do. So you may be wondering, why did I break the bank for a reel? When we go to Panama, they have reels there, some Stellas, some Twinpowers, which is the next step down, and some Saragosas. One thing I want you to remember is this handle tool that they give you. Unlike some smaller reels that you use, it's not so easy to change the Stella or the Twinpower handle out, and frequently people don't want to do it in the boat for a variety of reasons. Most people retrieve with their left hand. I retrieve with my right hand. I'm left-handed, use my right hand to retrieve. I want to have my own dedicated reel that I know will have the handle on the right side at all times. Second, we may go some places, hopefully the Maldives or Australia or Indonesia or places like that, where tackle won't be provided. And I want to have the best of the best when I tie into a GT or a Napoleon Rassie or some other fish like that. And I'm convinced that this was a good investment. Third, one of the weaknesses I've noticed when I'm down there is that the mates and the captains can cast a lot further and a lot more accurately than I can with these big rods and reels when they're popping. And I want to get better at that. And it's not a deal to go down there once a year, show up, and expect to be able to cast flawlessly. So if you see a guy on some of our local lakes and rivers here in Virginia in a bass boat with a popping rod and a 14,000 size reel, you know I'm working to get ready to pop for tuna. It's not just a matter of brute strength. I am going to the gym to try to get stronger, but it's really a matter of technique and release point, and I want to get those things down right before we go back. And finally, I feel like it's an investment in myself. I want to go on these trips. If I have this tackle, I don't have an excuse not to go by saying that I don't have the reel that I need to go. It's going to get me even more excited to go to some of these far-flung places, chase new tackle busting species, hopefully not busting my $1,100 reel, but put things to the test, put myself to the test, and really get me psyched up to fish. I'm excited about this kind of fishing. I have a feeling it's going to become a very important part of my life. So drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy, or did I make a really smart move here by buying this Stella? I'm pretty excited about it. It's right now July. It's 6 months until we go back to Panama. That's a long time to wait on this reel, but I'm going to be ready to go. I'm going to have it spooled up with 300 yards of 65-pound test. I'm going to be ready to battle some big fish and see what I can do with my reel. I'm really excited about it. If you want to join us in Panama, reach out to us at fishmore@halfpastfirstcast.com. We're always setting up more trips, hosted, or you can go by yourself. We'd love to have you join us. We'd love to have you buy your own Stella at some point in the future.